rappers are on the floor. Get up out. Get out of here. Hello, articulators. Welcome back. I'm sorry. I really tried to clean up, but it's hard when you have yourself to deal with, and they just leave messes all over. Get them. Just get it out. Anyways, sorry about that. Yeah, next time I promise to be. It'll be more clean in here. But welcome back to the podcast. This week is very special. Every week is special. Just by the way, I hope you know that and have noticed that. Because, I think something I learned, there's this show on Netflix called Afterlife with Ricky Gervais, and he works for like a news outlet, and they print a newspaper, and they go and interview just like weird people around the town. And something that he learns is that all of these people deserve their 15 minutes of fame. You know what I mean? And they're all just as special as the last one. So, I personally think each episode is special in its own right. And that's just what I believe. Anyways, so this episode is very special because Brennan Pinkerton is one of the funniest fellows that I've ever come into contact with. He is just a goon. I don't know how else to describe it. I think every word that comes out of his mouth is just taken. You have to view it in the context of him being Brennan Pinkerton, and then it's just automatically funny to me. I don't know. So there's just a lot of laughing in this episode, and it's a good time. And you get to learn about improv. That's also a plus. So I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. All right, here we go. Mr. Brennan Pinkerton, thanks so much for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Driving out here, sitting in this small room with us.
No, dude, it's perfect.
Yeah?
I couldn't imagine a better way to do it.
Yeah, with a natty.
Dude.
Yeah. So how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing great. Glad to be home.
Yeah? Okay.
Glad to be home. All this COVID stuff.
So, yeah, are you missing... So, improv stopped, right?
Yeah, improv, it pretty much ended when the school shut down.
Really?
So we're hoping, the group's hoping to pick back up in the fall, but we don't know if the university's going to be open then either, so.
Yeah.
We're all just kind of...
It's real crazy. Oh, real quick, by the way, so I had Maddie Smith on last week, and she brought you up, and that's kind of the reason that I invited you up.
Oh,
here.
yeah?
But I just wanted to play you this little clip.
Okay.
Where she mentions you here.
When I was young,
yeah,
do you want me to
always say,
I
look like my dad. I have a lot of my dad in me. And I always think, 6 inches isn't that much.
That's just the one.
You know what? You can definitely bond with those types of jokes with Brennan Pinkerton, because at the end of the day, BP's got his mom's hips and his dad's ass. And that is something that they stand by. And if you've seen the Colonel Pinkerton, he do be having an ass.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He really does.
Keep it cheeked up.
Keep it cheeked up. What are your thoughts?
She's not wrong. I do have my mother's hips and my dad's ass. That's how I introduce myself to people.
Really? Yeah. And also the what is it? The keep the what for later? How does that go?
Yeah. Brennan isn't like a super common name, so like when people read it, they'll sometimes like throw a D in there. And
like Brendan?
Brandon or Brendan.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you hold off. We just met. You'll get the D later.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's good stuff. So that on top of
right
that, I've got my mother's.
Yeah, I'm the complete package, Stevie.
Yeah.
Basically what we're getting at.
And he's in the Army. Ladies.
Air Force, yeah.
Air Force, right. You fly planes.
I do fly planes,
that's you are the full package.
I really am. And single.
Please, anybody.
Yes.
Anybody listening. Yeah, I just thought that was funny. And so, like, immediately after that, I contacted you. I was like, I just had, just for that moment to hear your reaction about that. But yeah, so you like incest jokes?
Right,
like,
those are some of my favorites.
Yeah.
Pretty much anything, like, just stupid.
Just stupid.
Like, either stupid humor is the best.
Yeah, do you have a favorite, like, joke?
I don't know, man.
There's not one that you, like, reference a lot?
There's, like, like telling people I have my dad's ass upon meeting him. Like within the first 5 minutes of meeting him. It's kind of that. Just kind of shocking them and seeing how they react to me.
Yeah, just shouting.
Yeah. Just shouting that at them and shaking their head as I scream it in their face.
Yeah, I think it works for the most part.
Yeah, no.
With the mustache especially.
Yeah,
it starts to like tickle their face a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely gets people's attention.
That's cute. All right, man. Yeah. So back to improv. Sorry.
That was fine.
Yeah. But yeah, so at OU, how'd you get started at the improv group there?
That's a good question.
You said you'd never done anything like that before, right?
Not really. I was like an extra in a play in 7th grade. I was about as much performing as I've done. But
what play in 7th grade?
It was like Godspell. I got beat. Laura McCauley and like 2 other people beat the shit out of me and stole my shoes.
What?
Yeah, that was just part of the play. It was like, hey, they robbed me. They mugged and robbed me.
Jesus, it's 7th grade. This is a good message to send.
Yeah, dude.
And that really prepared you.
That was my inspiration for joining the improv team.
Okay.
So
yeah.
Now it's unplanned when I get beat up on stage.
Now I just expected it.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But yeah. So how'd you actually get involved?
Right. So Jacob Bush, you're familiar.
I'm familiar of the Bush. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he takes acting classes in Cincinnati.
Okay.
He has done a few short films.
Really?
Yeah, in between. So he has a hand in everything. He can do it.
Jack of all trades.
Right.
Yeah. He is an interesting fellow.
He is. That's a guy you got to get on here.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
So they do auditions in the fall, in like September, early fall. I got like drunk on a Sunday afternoon watching like a Steelers football game.
Yeah. And
I think like after the game ended, I was just kind of chilling out with my roommate, and Bush calls me, and he goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, I'm just drunk, chilling out. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, are you not drunk?
Yeah, I was like, come on,
it's Sunday.
Why are you calling me if you're not? So he was like, do you want to audition for Black Sheep Improv with me? I was like, what? Yeah, do you want to like audition for the improv group on campus? I'm like, well, I'm pretty drunk. And he goes, yeah, I'll come over and I'll have a few, and then we can both go. and at least it'll be fun for a minute. So
yeah,
I wasn't doing.
Because you guys used to do like stuff like you would go to trivia all the time too, right?
Yeah, we did trivia.
You just get drunk and just go see what's going on.
Right,
on the
we'll
campus.
just kind of find out where it leads us.
Where trouble is.
Yeah. So Bush is like, hey, they're doing the audition start in an hour. I'll just come over real quick, get a few beers in, and we'll go.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, I'm not doing anything. Yeah, sure, let's do it. Like, I don't know these people. Why not? If I'm making an ass of myself, it happens. So we end up going. We're the first people there. We're just kind of sitting in a room, and when we first walk into it, there's only one dude in the room, Palmer. And
Palmer?
he's listening to Higher by Creed. He has that playing for some reason.
Yeah, like out loud?
Yeah, like over like the speaker.
Oh.
So me and Bush walk in and we're like, what is going on? So, anywho, a few more people show up and we actually go through and do auditions. I guess I had a decent audition.
Yeah, what was how did you audition?
So we went in and we just did a few exercises. The same thing. So like when you audition, we pretty much went through the same drills. Okay. Which is like, hey, we're going to do a little game called Coffee Shop, where it's basically what you and I are doing right now. Just hey, sit down, act like you're at a coffee shop, just chilling out, and having a conversation and see what happens.
That's interesting.
And so, yeah, it kind of tests. It's kind of like you can be a good improver, but if you don't have chemistry with the other people on stage, it's not going to be a good show. That's what makes improv funny. Is watching the chemistry between the group.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, one person could be hilarious, but if you're all on different pages and you don't have your own idea, it's just not going to work.
Right.
So the nice thing about that is you kind of see how people interact on the spot while they're just doing coffee shop, and it's not it's not necessarily supposed to be funny, but as long as you can keep it going and keep it interesting.
Yeah,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
It's just natural chemistry. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's what we did. Actually, at my audition, I was actually paired with Bush for this, for that exercise, and the people. Nice. I don't think I ever told them this, so if they listen to this, I'm sorry. Bush. So Bush and I had already known each other.
And just have like a natural conversation about that. Yeah, they didn't know.
They had no idea. At least I don't think they did.
Yeah.
But.
Wow, so you cheated to get
in. I cheated my way on the improv group.
And that's how you got to do it, people. Cheat your way through life.
Right.
It works.
See, I'm successful. No, so we did a coffee shop thing, and then we did some like quick games that are like somebody will like do a beatbox like boom, doom, boom, boom, boo, like that sort of thing. Yeah. You'll do that, and you have to like make up a quick rhyme or something, and like pass it on to the next. Like you say the first part of the rhyme, and then the person next to you has to finish that rhyme.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, but that's another like tough, chemistry thing is like knowing what this person's gonna say and trying to set them up, like in terms of like sports or something. Mm-hmm. You're basically trying to assist other people and set them up.
That's interesting.
Gift them a shtick that they can do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I just listened to a thing with Jason Sudeikis, who apparently has like 3 doctorates in improv. I didn't even know you could. Yeah, something like that.
Those are made up.
Yeah, they're definitely made up. Yeah. Each individual.
He improv'd 3 doctorates.
Yeah, but he was comparing basketball, because I think he must have played basketball in high school or something, but he was comparing basketball to improv a lot because it is like a team, right?
Yeah, definitely that's when we would have like practice or rehearsals for improv. You don't really practice improv. You can't rehearse something you make up on the spot. So basically what those practices would look like is just building chemistry with one another.
Really?
And like doing little scenes, getting to know each other.
That sounds awesome.
A good time. Yeah, so when I went, I'm a bit of a drinker, so I would always show up to improv practice with like a tall boy. Yeah. Because I was just hanging out.
At least one.
It's basically just hanging out. I mean, you're actually working towards improv. It's not just a bunch of dudes sitting around in a room fucking off. But,
right.
But
well, I mean, not always.
Not always.
Yeah, not always. Yeah.
So, but we would do these little exercises and like 2 people scenes, and we did some crazy drills like one person will stand up in front, and then everybody else in the group they'll assign the one person a character and be like, you're Tiffany from Fort Lauderdale, this is your first time seeing snow, and you're 38, go. And you have to be Tiffany for 5 minutes. Yeah. So
just by yourself up there?
Yeah.
Really? Doing like a monologue or something?
Yeah, basically.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's wild.
Yeah, so it teaches you to, you'll learn how to think quickly.
Yeah.
Or you'll die trying. But
yeah, have you noticed yourself, like, thinking a lot more, pacing a little differently or applying it into other areas of your life?
Yeah, for sure. Like, before we started doing this, like, telling you about how, like, when COVID hit, I was thinking about not going back to OU.
Right.
So, basically, everything I do is improv. Like, I just got 3 different jobs by chance. So, there is no planning here. It just kind of happens.
Just kind of go with the flow.
Right.
Yeah. So, you have a job? All right, I'll come with you. Yeah. Just follow it. It's yes and, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the
yes and
number 1 rule?
Oh, yeah.
Are there? Yeah. So, is there like a list of rules that you guys have to follow?
Not really. It's pretty lax. I think depending on, and mind you, I did college improv for 2 years. So
yeah, so I'm kind of a professional.
Right. I'm a professional in the same way that Sudeikis has 3 doctorates in improv. which is, I mean, no, he actually earned those probably.
Yeah,
yeah.
You're right.
I don't.
You're a professional, as in like I've used Twitter for like 4 years.
Right.
So, like
I'm familiar with how it works.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't have a whole lot of rules. It's basically yes and is the biggest part. You never want to like.
So
okay.
yeah, can you explain yes and a little bit in depth?
Yeah, so say like you and I are doing a scene, and we're up there, and I say, all right, Stevie, we're on a submarine, and there's a torpedo coming at us, and you go, no, it's not a torpedo, it's a dinosaur, and then we just stare at each other awkwardly for a couple seconds. So it's like no. So what you would do is like, oh my god, like this torpedo's coming this fast, but there are also like baby ducks that we have to save right now. Yeah. And it's just it's just building.
Okay. Because I was going to say yes and. Is there like a wrong way to do that? Like, could you be like, yes and there's a dinosaur too? Like you said. Yeah. Would that be something that might be a little too much?
It kind of depends on what you're doing and how much detail is in the scene. If you've been working on a scene for like 5 minutes and everything's pretty established. I mean, you can throw in an oddball, and that's what a lot of people will do to make it funny, but it has to be timed right. So like oh my god, there's a dinosaur coming, but if you just keep throwing in like there's a dinosaur, and over here like there's a giant tsunami, and then if you like you're basically in a world of disasters. I mean, it can get hectic. Yeah. Because as you're, especially with like
we're living in a world of disasters. Right.
Yeah. Currently, we're experiencing that now. Yeah. But just shit.
No, it's.
Lost my train of thought.
Yeah. I mean, we were just talking about it can be too much. Bringing that much into a scene. Yeah. And just getting too hectic in there.
And especially with you don't want to confuse the people you're doing it with too, because if you lose track of them, then they don't know where the scene is. Right. And you can get lost trying to bring them back up to speed. Right. And you can't. I mean, you're on stage. So
just like right now.
Yeah. So, yeah. I mean, actually, so there's Thomas Middleditch and Ben. Oh, he plays John Ralphio in Parks and Rec. Oh. They just released within the last year, I think. It's just them, but they have a three show series on Netflix right now of them doing improv. Oh, really? And so, yeah, it's really interesting. If you haven't watched it yet, it's really funny. Yeah, but they're more qualified, and you'll learn by watching.
They have at least one doctorate.
Yeah, at least one doctorate in improv. But yeah, so it really helps for us. Like when I first joined, because I didn't know a whole lot about improv. Yeah. The first month that we were on the team, like me and basically the rookie class, when we came in, we just watched everybody else do improv. Like we didn't perform for the first month. Really? We were just learning the ropes. We were watching them do it. Wow. And trying to build that chemistry. Yeah. So I learned a lot doing that. But just watching improv, I mean, you can pretty much get it.
How many different practices do you guys have? Because I know you just said the coffee shop one, but what other ones are there?
Oh, there's I mean, it's improv. You can make up any exercise, right? So, wow. Yeah. Yeah. So we would do that. We would do monologue where everybody would throw a different characters. Person.
Right. And that kind of helps one person develop their it's almost like a stamina thing at that point. Like it's like how long by yourself can you improv without the chemistry of others?
Yeah, it's just being able to think, kind of training you to think quickly. Yeah. It doesn't matter. It matters what you say, but it also, as long as you're saying something, you're fine. Yeah. So we would do that, and then for instance, coffee shop, building that chemistry, or we also had exercise where you didn't speak. You just had to do. Oh, really? You just had to act things out. Yeah. And then for the first 30 seconds of the exercise, everybody's kind of doing their own thing, but watching everybody else to kind of figure out what they're doing. And after 30 seconds, you can come in and you speak and say I'm cutting an apple or cooking something. Somebody will start that scene by going oh, it smells delicious. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
But you're able to, it kind of helps with
setting the scene a little bit.
Yeah, setting the scene, making sure, I mean, the more in-depth you can get in the world that you're building, the better it's gonna be.
Okay.
Right. So.
Yeah. All right. And what about the onion one? I like that one.
The onion. That one's just a fun game.
Yeah.
So basically.
well, that's the thing with improv is like some of them are practices, but a lot of it just feels like a game. You know.
They
have I think like whose line is it anyways? You know that?
Yeah.
It's they call that like improv sports or theater sports or something like that.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it is like a game. Right?
Yeah. No, it is. We did. I mean, that was actually one of the first things that we learned to do because pretty much everybody's familiar. If you're familiar with improv, you've heard of whose line is it anyway? That's like the most famous improv there is. But that stuff is usually pretty easy, right? Because it's a short game, short memory, long form improv. I mean, there's some because it's improv. You can literally make up whatever you want to do.
Yeah. So what's the difference between short form and long form? Because I looked it up a little bit, but it's not very descriptive on what they would say on Wikipedia.
Yeah. It's just like games. So like on Whose Line Is It Anyway? They were just doing a quick game. They really weren't doing a scene. They would build a world, but it would last for
like 30
Yeah,
seconds,
it wasn't super long. What we did in Black Sheep most of the time was long form improv.
Okay.
Called in the format that we did it in was a herald. So you would have you'd have scene A or like A1 scene.
It's a great sauce.
Yeah. A1, B1, C1. So that's your first scene, and then like A1 is the first scene of the first set, and then when somebody will come out and swipe that scene, and they'll go straight into B1, which is another scene, and then C1 another scene. That process repeats. So when you finish that scene C1, everybody will usually come out, and you'll do like a group game. It's like a short form.
Okay.
Improv game lasts maybe 30 seconds to a minute.
Right.
And then from there you go into.
You come back to A2?
You go to A2.
Okay.
B2, C2.
Right.
You do another game. And, A3. And you can do that as many times as you want. What we usually did was like 3 sets of 3. That was our goal.
Okay. And it probably gets better as you go on because, like you said, you have more of the things established in each story. By the time you're on the last one, it's like just natural for you to just fuck around in it, basically. Right.
And the cool thing is, so I forgot to mention this, so you'll basically do an exercise. What we did, some of our starters, like the starter being like, they'll ask somebody a word ask for a word. Could be anything. And then from there you go into, one of our most popular ones that we did a lot was an organic where nobody spoke, but you made different noises, and everybody on that troupe would make the same noise, and everybody's trying to copy one another, but at the same time you're also building off of that idea. So basically it's like a 2-step where, okay, I have this word. This word reminds me of that reminds me of this.
Okay. And
then you have 3 different ideas there, 3 different words that you can go off of.
Right.
And you just you build off of it.
Wow.
Yeah, so then in A1 you'll think of one thing from that organic, that starter.
Okay.
And they'll build that scene around that.
Right.
B2, it'll be something else from.
So you don't know what B1 is going to be.
No.
Really?
No, yeah. So whatever. Usually it's not related to A1. So say you have an organic, somebody. It starts as your word is jellyfish, and people will motion and do jellyfish noises, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And then that'll morph into a different sound and action, which will morph into a different sound and action. Eventually, you're a fire truck, right? So you can do A1, that could be about jellyfish. B2, that scene will be swiped. B2 comes out.
It's about electricity because jellyfish, and then electricity caused fire. Right. Boom. Fire truck.
Right. You just did improv.
Yeah.
So, and then throughout, so usually A1, B1, and C1 are all totally different things. Yeah. And then throughout that long form of improv, through the second set and third set, you're trying to connect A1 to B1 to C1, and eventually you're all in the same world.
Oh wow!
So, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know. I probably explained that a little bit confusingly. But.
No, I mean I needed it in depth. I mean, like if you don't know anything about improv, it's
Mm-hmm.
you know, it is important to like understand that. But yeah, no, definitely, and that's what long form is, connecting it all in the end there, and like kind of making the whole thing a complete piece as opposed to just having a bunch of random stuff. So does it technically, do the first like couple sets count as short form?
Kind of, yeah, basically, but that's one thing that, you know, keeps the audience's attention too, like saying a specific event happened. Mm-hmm. Well, then somebody else might bring that back in like C2, and then the audience was like, wait, but that's happening here. Yeah. And eventually they kind of realize you're all in the same world. Yeah. So that keeps it entertaining. You know what I mean?
Yeah. How big of a part does the audience play in improv? For you, at least.
It's huge because the only reason you're there is to entertain them. Right. So that's another thing that we didn't have. I kind of had issues with it.
You're there to kind of entertain yourself.
Right.
Too.
Right. Yeah. It was basically, there could be 5 people at our show. We're gonna do it anyway because we enjoy fucking around. Yeah. Like, oh, what if this happened? You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, we like to live in fantasy land. What about it?
We think we're important, and that's what matters. So. Yeah, I mean, the audience, as far as like energy wise, if you don't come in and establish high energy, the audience is gonna feel that, right. And they're not gonna be excited, and then you're gonna feel that on stage, and then you're not gonna get excited, and then it's not gonna build, right? Yeah,
no, I mean, I definitely feel you. I think I talked a little bit about it on the last episode with Maddie. Mm-hmm. We were talking about stand up, and it's just kind of it's pretty similar with the crowd when you're doing a stand-up, because it's really like, you know, do you bomb improv? Do improvs bomb? Like, are they bad?
We've had bad shows.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yes. Yeah, and so do you learn a lot from doing those?
Yeah, I'd say. I mean, we every time we finish a show, we all get in a circle. We say one thing that we liked and one thing that we didn't like, and what we could improve on. Wow. And that helps a lot because, like, somebody will notice one thing, like, oh, you're not, like, we need to do a better job of listening to each other because maybe in that particular show we kind of got lost a lot and we didn't get confused, and one person could have had 3 different names because we weren't paying attention. Yeah. Right. So and then somebody will come back and go like, oh, I think we did a good job of timing, of timing our sets and scenes, and a good job of swiping too, because when you swipe a scene, it's supposed to come after the biggest laugh. Okay. So if you let it go on for too long, you just kind of get bored with it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's a huge thing.
Understandable. And that's, again, kind of how the audience, after the biggest laugh, how the audience kind of plays back into it. Yeah. Wow. So that's what I was going to say. When you go up there and do stand-up, when, you know, you definitely have to feel out the crowd. Mm-hmm. And if you keep bombing or keep trying to, like, go off of a joke and it just is not playing at all, right, then you have to reassess yourself afterwards. You have to be like, all right, I need to have different things that I can, like, different go-tos, switch it up a little bit and whatnot. And I can imagine that with improv, at least you have, like, that group of people to talk to, right?
That's actually the biggest thing. A lot of the improvers that, you know, I did improv with, they also did stand-up comedy at OU. Yeah. A lot of them did. And they were in different, like, there was also the group Fridays Live, which is like a skit show. Okay. There are a few of them that were writers for that as well. That's interesting. So, yeah, it's actually it was a pretty decently sized comedy community at OU.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't dive into it because I'm a piece of shit.
Hey, I didn't either, man. So, I mean, you got into it more than I did. So, there's that.
Just on the off chance that I was drunk and had nothing to do.
True, and then it flourished into a love, right?
Right, it's a love. It's my craft now.
So, would you consider? Are you considering taking it, you know, forward with you, like after, even if you don't go back to OU, or?
I'm not sure. I know, like, I'll probably go and take, like, that acting class with Bush one time, a few times, and if I like it, maybe keep doing it. Just because I like
Bush too.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's another reason that I really enjoyed improv, is that, you know, we've been friends since 2nd grade, and we're up there just screwing, you know,
doing the same things you've been doing since 2nd grade.
Basically all it is the only reason I wasn't great at improv. I did okay, but I do it because I like fucking around with my friends and making shit up.
Yeah. But can you tell who the good ones are? Like, who's really good at it? And
oh, yeah.
Oh, really? And,
yeah.
And then from there, that's what I kind of want to get into the industry a little bit. So people go, obviously people have heard of Second City in Chicago,
oh,
right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, what is the career like, do you think, for, like, improv people?
There's not... So, in my opinion,
That's what we're here for.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is just me because I haven't tried anything other than improv. I don't have the work ethic to do stand-up comedy. It's something I wanted to do, but I'm just sit down and write the joke, and then I can't do it, or I'm not willing to work hard enough to do it because which I'm sure is very hard. I don't have to prepare to do improv. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So I just go up there and whatever happens. Improv, because there's not. It's like just short bursts. Like nobody. That's why there aren't like more improv shows. You know what I mean? Like there's Hoodlun, there's an Anyway, there's that one that I talked about on Netflix. But usually, I mean, it's pretty much the same thing every time you do it, right? It's always the same shtick. So
it's not like a super big market.
No, not at all. So that's why a lot of people that do improv, it's more just kind of for fun. And they go on to do stand up and
or SNL, or like skit writing for shows and
right
stuff.
Yeah, so that's what, like Jason Sudeikis, like he probably started in improv. A lot of people still do improv, but they don't rely on improv.
Okay, so it's more of like a gateway thing to get into other things.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
And it helps with your comedy too. I mean, you're able to move on the fly. If you're doing a stand-up set and you like one joke completely bombs, you're able to get past that pretty quickly.
Right.
It just kind of helps with the mental state of it and being able to think quickly.
Yeah, I know I mentioned it earlier, but that's really like the part that I find really interesting about improv. Because like even when I did it for like that week or whatever, when I was just hanging out with you guys or whatever, I could tell that it like my, I was just naturally like wittier or something, you know, or just like kind of thinking a little bit quicker about things.
Right. Yeah.
And because it does like keep you on your toes really, and like to apply that into your life, like if you're able to like keep that kind of state of mind, I mean, I can imagine that's very helpful in like finding jobs, even with like, I mean, obviously girls, because you're like charming, you know, or guys, you know, whatever,
right,
you know,
sure.
or theys, is that thems? No,
I'm not sure.
Yeah. How about everybody?
Right.
You know, applying, alls.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Good. I like that.
But it applies to the entire playing field there, and I bet even like spiritually in a way, like I bet I bet like improv, you kind of have to like accept. I don't know. It's like spiritually, you kind of have to accept things that kind of come into your mind a lot more, and I bet improv like kind of makes it easier to like let things go and like kind of move on. Because you really have to be in the present, right? When you're up there, you really have to be like paying attention. And
you have to, like, you can't be thinking about other stuff. And like I know, like for instance, if you have an idea and you're like ready, say a scene ends and you have an idea, if somebody else comes out on stage before you and like said their idea, your idea's gone. You have to forget about it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're still thinking about your idea, but you're on stage and you're trying to incorporate your idea with their idea, it usually just doesn't work because they have a vision, you have a totally different vision. Yeah. So I mean, it's really, it could have been great, but who knows?
But who knows? Yeah. Now at this point, you just gotta keep going. You just gotta keep, if you had an internship before coronavirus, you don't have it now. It's like, well. Don't think about it.
Right.
It could have been great, and it probably would have been really great.
Right. It would have been an awesome opportunity.
It would have been amazing
to do that.
Yeah.
And you really missed out, but who knows?
Yeah. But you got to move on, and you got to stay present, and that's what I'm saying. So like applying those things into your, into your life. You know, they actually have improv therapy. They like present it for couples.
Oh, really?
And people going through like PTSD and
really?
They have social anxiety disorder and stuff like that. It's I guess it really just does help with that being present and everything.
I totally believe it. I think I became more social because of it. I mean, at OU, we'll just get this out of the way. I didn't like OU. Well, we've talked about it, but
I still don't. I don't.
Yeah, still not a huge fan of OU.
I'm glad we can agree on that.
Just for the record, I will not be donating to them as an alumni.
Yeah.
I will not.
Yeah, I will not.
So, no, but before, I mean, I really disliked OU, and when I joined the improv group, that was cool. So you're able just, connecting with people, but also just doing improv and learning something new that helped. I mean, it is easier to just kind of get things out of the way.
Yeah, and that's cool. It gave you a little community.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, that's great, man, and it is something that personally I'm really interested in, and I would like to look more into at some point eventually.
I would try. I mean, there are probably groups everywhere.
I imagine in Cincinnati, Columbus, everywhere. But yeah, I think we're good to wrap it up. Unless you have anything else to add about improv.
No.
Okay.
No, that's good.
I do want to tell you though. I end every episode. Most episodes, I do a little intro and an outro.
Yeah.
And I end every episode with me talking and saying something about you, and then I'll be like, okay, I'll be like, okay, thanks for listening. Hey man, I love you. Okay, bye. And I'll say that.
Yeah.
And you were the one that really inspired the okay bye to me. And even the I love you at some point. You just threw those in at the end of phone conversations sometimes.
Right. Yeah.
And you expect the I love you back too.
Yeah, I won't hang up.
If you don't get it back.
Yeah, I will get upset.
Yeah.
Love you, bye forever, just in case.
Just in case.
Because we don't know.
We don't know.
It's improv.
Yeah, we're all improv.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I really just wanted to give you some credit for that. So
Thanks. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thank you.
You can get the D later. Are you kidding me? Whose man is this? Somebody come get Brennan Pinkerton and take him home. Because somebody needs to come get him home. Brennan, again, just a character. Just a lovely fella. I hope you, again, enjoyed it as much as I did. And learned very much, very, very quickly that everything that comes out of his mouth is just insane. So, yeah, if you didn't, re-listen. Go back. Why not? Do it. Because it's a podcast. You can. Anyways. Thanks for listening. I love you. Amen. Okay, bye. Call it the Scrambler because it scrambles!